So if you missed it last week, while the Clark County Council was going over the rules and procedures section, which is something they do at the beginning of every year, our brand new councilor, Wil Fuentes, the fella that moved here from Hillsborough a couple of years ago to now become the representative of Clark County, said this.
Yes. Yeah, item 3, the invocation. I'd like to consider us removing it from these council meetings, as I don't believe that it's necessary.
Any other thoughts on that?
Normally, most council or city council meetings have it in it. This is part of what they do. Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, I just don't believe that we should be mixing business with, with religious prayers or anything like that.
Well, the Pledge of Allegiance includes some God.
Which we should probably consider removing as well.
Well, that's part of the Pledge of Allegiance, and we're all Americans.
I completely understand it. For time's sake and to be more efficient and to ensure that we're here to conduct business, I don't believe that these 2 items need to be part of the council meetings.
So, my friends, this is not about inclusivity. If it was about inclusivity, he would have, suggested like, hey, let's expand this. Let's add, or that's not what he did. He moved to cancel it, to remove it, to, take it, wipe it off of the map. That's really what this was about. And so this isn't, they're going to try to say, well, we're just trying to be inclusive and diversity and equity and all this kind of stuff. No. This is about cancel. This is about removing it. This is similar to Mao's Cultural Revolution, just an extension of that, where we just need to destroy the 4 olds. We need to get rid of, there's a palpable disdain for God by Wil Fuentes and Sue Marshall, by the way. There's been many times, especially at the beginning part of her tenure as Clark County Council, where I've saw that she will not participate in prayer. So she's either atheist or some other kind of faith that prayer is, abhorrent to her. And so this is, by the way, this is a coordinated effort, not just by Wil Fuentes. This was a coordinated effort. Sue Marshall mentions that she's done some other research, had some other inquiries, and they looked into this beforehand. And so this was a coordinated effort. Wil Fuentes was just tapped. Either he was asked to do this or he, asked to do this, and they agreed that they would go after this topic. And so that's what's going on. Thankfully, Councilor Belcott drew out that this is not just about, separating religion and politics, as he tried to once Wil put this out, then he began to try to put it back in the bag, but he already let it out. And he let out that he wanted to get rid of the pledge. And, later on in the end of the meeting, he completely backs off of, trying to get rid of the pledge. But 2 times he references that, yeah, it should be gone. It should be gone. Unfortunately, Belcott drew that out, because without that, we wouldn't really understand that this is more than just trying to save time and efficiency. There's a real disdain. In fact, we see it later on, and we see the kowtowing of our other new Councilor Matt Little. So check this out.
Other things that you could do a land acknowledgement. I think Pledge of Allegiance, I believe that that's an important part of it. But as a Christian, it's not important for me to have an invocation of any type, but there are ways, I think, to do it where you're talking about greater being or greater purpose or something like that, or a land acknowledgement. I'd be open to lots of different approaches. So this next section,
I call it Struggle Session with Sue. And I think that we're going to see a lot more now that she's chair of the council. We're going to see a lot more struggle sessions with Sue. But check out this struggle session, and it begins with this.
You know, just already I feel uneasy that people are declaring a religious preference. That makes me uncomfortable.
So then what follows, and here's how we know this was a successful struggle session. If you don't know what a struggle session is, it was something that's coined from Mao's Cultural Revolution, in which, and we see a lot of it being worked out today, right? Where people are shamed, or, they would put them, now it'd be far more dramatic in Mao's Cultural Revolution, where they'd pull them out into the public square, hang a sign on their hands, and they would, with a microphone or whatever, and they would, make them denounce themselves. Well, in a way, that's what happens here, because check out how Matt Little responds, and he responds correctly of what Sue was hoping would be.
And I think we want to be respectful of all beliefs, and that is the purpose of this. And I thank you for bringing it up.
So that, my friends, is another episode, or it's the first episode of Struggle Sessions with Sue. And this Wednesday, there will be a public comment on the rules and procedures, which is on the agenda. So if you want to go and give your opinion and talk about how this was abhorrent that he even went there and is trying to cancel a tradition that I think is quite respectable. And by the way, Matt Little, you say you're a Christian, and Glenn Young, you say you're a Christian. So let's talk about that for a second. Biblically, where do you justify biblically that prayer should be, further eliminated or canceled? And this is something bigger than just prayer. This is respecting and honoring the faiths communities in Clark County, because there's many. There are hopefully more people who believe, be it either of some sort of faith, than who don't believe in Clark County. And this is just honoring that community, which why would we not want to do that? The other thing, what Matt Little, what in particular Wil Fuentes, what Sue Marshall, what they're doing, tell me how this is any different than what they accuse of white settlers doing. White settlers going into Native American land and saying, stop that, you can't do that, you have to do it this way. So what's the difference? It's just one substitute of a faith or belief system over another. They happen to be more agnostic or atheistic, probably from a Marxist ideology, and they want to impose that on others. That's what's going on here. So anyways, take action. Don't just sit back and do nothing and shrug your shoulders. Make comment. 1:00 this Wednesday, you can give public comment. So you should do that.